You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Well, the big news early this week is that LSU added Pete Jenkins to its defensive line staff. And for a lot of good reasons. The LSU defense has been historically bad. And so you feel like you have to do something, and maybe by adding Pete Jenkins, this is a way to improve the defensive line, even if slightly. Missouri has offered its own counter. I'm not sure if you saw this news, but Missouri has brought in J.B. Grimes to assist with its offensive line. J.B. Grimes is a longtime offensive line coach. He's coached at places like Auburn and Kentucky. He's been all over the place, Kansas State, over the course of his career. But J.B. Grimes has been brought in to help that Missouri offensive line. Hey, look, you bring in Pete Jenkins, we bring in our own expert to counter you. So J.B. Grimes will help with the Missouri offensive line. He's coached everywhere, as I mentioned, from Kansas State and Mississippi State and Texas A&M and Virginia Tech, Auburn, Arkansas. So a lot of SEC experience in Missouri doing what they can. But I really think that matchup is where all of our focus needs to be. We've talked a ton about LSU's secondary. We've talked about Luther Burden, the Missouri receiver who leads the SEC in receptions right now. He's an explosive, dynamic playmaker. And I understand all the reasons why we're focusing there. And I fully expect that Missouri is going to force the ball to Luther Burden. There's a reason that he is leading the SEC in receptions. He's their best, most dynamic offensive player. And he's a former 5-star guy. And they are pushing the ball to him. He's got 43 catches. The next closest receiver on Missouri's team is Theo Weiss Jr. with 24 receptions, and then Mookie Cooper with 13. So you're talking about a guy in Luther Burden who's got almost double the amount of receptions of the next closest receiver. They force the ball to him. So for all the reasons, and with good reasons, he's a great player. For all the reasons we've talked about the secondary, and I understand why, I don't think that's where LSU shows the biggest improvement, because I don't know that they can. And I hate to be defeatist, but in many ways you are what you are. I've offered my suggestions. The veteran players that you have, you see their ceiling is low. You got to play the young guys. I want to see Ryan Yates at safety. Ryan Yates is going to be your best option at safety. He may make a lot of mistakes that you would expect a young player to make. Your old players are making mistakes, and at least Yates is a more physically gifted player. I want to see Ashton Stamps. I want to see LaTerrence Welch. Let me see the young guys at corner. The guys who have a higher ceiling. Take the lumps, go play some man coverage, because you can't play zone a lick right now. So go play your young guys, see what you could do, but assist them with your defensive front. And yes, Pete Jenkins coming in this week I don't think is by accident. And one of the things that Brian Kelly kind of snuck in on his coach's show last night, I think is massively significant for this ball game. Brian Kelly was asked about his message to the defense this week. And listen to what he said.
We said these are the things that we're going to do this week to affect change here. We're bringing in Pete Jenkins. We're going to work on technique. We're going to go to 4 down, and we're going to be in a 4-down defense. We're going to take away a lot more of the air and gaps within our defense. Here's what we're doing in tackling. So we laid all that out for our guys so they knew what the plan was throughout the week. And now they can wrap their heads around and say, all right, here we go. Let's go to work.
Did you catch it? Play it again.
We're going to go to 4 down, and we're going to be in a 4-down defense. We're going to take away a lot more of the air and gaps within our defense.
Thank you. I kind of wanted you to play the whole thing again. Play the whole thing again.
We said these are the things that we're going to do this week to affect change here. We're bringing in Pete Jenkins. We're going to work on technique. We're going to go to 4 down.
Going to go to 4 down. If you remember, when Dave Aranda was here, he ran a 3-man front. And Dave was magnificent. Great defensive mind. We all know it. They recruited, coached exceptionally well. But Ed Ogeron wanted a 4-3. When they switched from Aranda to Pelini, The idea was bring in a guy who's going to run a true 4-3. That's what Ed Orgeron knew forever. Ed Orgeron learned from Pete Jenkins. And by the way, that's not a commentary at all on Pete or Ed Orgeron. It was just Pelini was lazy and they were terrible, despite the fact that they had talent. But the point is, Pete Jenkins comes in and immediately is going to want to run a four-man front. A true 4-3. LSU is going to try to create car crashes at the line of scrimmage. You can't just get better in the secondary. Your guys don't know how to play zone, and they're not good enough to play man. So how do you help them? You wreck the line of scrimmage. Easier said than done, right? I get it. Like we've been talking about that. We'll get a pass rush. And so often we think, well, Harold Perkins coming off the edge or put Deshaun Womack in there. And I think that's part of it. But the most disappointing part about this defense, the most disappointing part, is that you have 5- and 4-star guys all across your defensive front, and they have done nothing. That's the most disappointing part. When Quinshon Judkins runs for 177 yards, nearly doubles his season rushing total in one game behind a bad offensive line against your talented defensive front, that sucks. That's embarrassing. If I've had this question once, I've had it 1,000 times since the start of the season. Where's Mason Smith? Guess where he is? He's about to be lined up in a 3 technique instead of head up on a center, eating double and triple teams. Let Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo, Jacoby and Guillory, let the Jordan Jefferson, let those guys just blow up the line of scrimmage. Brady Cook, one gigantic difference this week for LSU as opposed to the last couple of weeks is Brady Cook at quarterback. Brady Cook on the season has run 35 times for 37 yards. That includes sack totals, but his longest run of the season is 17 yards. Brady Cook is not Jackson Dart. He is not KJ Jefferson. And he's got a bum wheel as well. He hurt his knee. He's been playing on a bum knee. That dude is a sitting duck. You want to help your secondary? Get your 4-man defensive line to go blow up the line of scrimmage. Challenge them. That is the easiest way, not to fix what's, because you're fixing, but to improve on what you saw. Kelly said it. Look, I mean, he said this week they spent 40% of the week working on tackling, whereas normally that's 5-10%. So when you are dramatically increasing the amount of time you're spending tackling, and you're going to put your defensive front in a position that's going to play to their strengths, that should make you better in your defensive front immediately. Look, I think he understands. And Brian Kelly said it. And we've all, play number 3. Listen to what Brian Kelly said. This is like a big picture perspective on this year's defense.
This is not going to be, the 86 Bears, but we can get this defense playing where we can keep the points down. And if that's the style of offense that we have to play, that we have to outscore some opponents, so be it. But we got to get the points down because this offense is too good.
The 85 Bears, by the way, is what Brian was looking for. Not the 86 Bears. Were the 86 Bears any good? Can you look how good were the 86? I don't know how good were the 86 Bears. But yes, you did it against Mississippi State on the road. You're going to have those options and those opportunities against some offenses. I'm not saying you're going to go to Missouri and hold Mizzou to 10 points. But my God, you can hold them under 55. Can you hold them under 35? Can you hold them under 30? If you do that, you win this game in a walk. But it's on the defensive line. The defensive front 7 has got to be better to help the defensive backfield, which isn't going to be awesome. They're just not. They do not have the personnel to be an awesome secondary. But you do have enough personnel with top 100 guys, 5-star dudes in that defensive front 7 to be dramatically better than you are right now. Go let that start on Saturday in Columbia. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.